Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 0 of We Are Definitely Afraid of the Dark, a podcast about horror movies and people who are scared of them. I'm Steven Smith. Let's go around the horn and introduce everybody.
I'm Emma Holder, and I'm also very, very afraid of everything, including horror movies. That's all I need.
I'm Kyle Romero. I am not afraid of horror movies. I'm a big, brave boy. I will be the horror Sherpa on this climb to the top of Mount Spooky.
Well, let's be candid about, I think, what our levels are of comfort with this. So, as Kyle mentioned, he's the Sherpa, he's the expert. He knows everything there is to know about horror movies, as far as Emma and I are concerned.
Yeah, I know way more than you guys, but there's definitely going to be horror nerds who listen to this who are like, this guy doesn't know shit, I should be the horror Sherpa. Can I cuss?
I like that you think people are going to listen to our podcast.
We have to project the success.
You're right.
First of all, two things. We have listeners? Cool. Second of all, listeners who are not happy with salty language and don't want us cursing. Emma.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I'm the most scared.
Yes.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment.
We both sense that.
I hate all scary things. I saw Isle of Dogs yesterday.
It spooked you?
A cartoon. It didn't spook me. It upset me. It upset me because it was a little too mean to dogs at the beginning.
And
the movie's called I Love Dogs.
No, it's Isle of Dogs.
So,
I get it, but like they send these dogs to a trash island, which I did know before I saw it, but I just didn't expect it to hit me.
Did you come away loving dogs more and trusting the Japanese?
I had a lot of questions about cultural appropriation.
Sure.
And like, did Wes Anderson go about this in a good way? I think he probably got some people that weren't him to help. I hope. Right. But I haven't really looked into it.
Nico from the Velvet Underground was
Yoko Ono's in it.
Oh, well.
So that
problem.
For those of you listening at home, we all dusted our hands off.
But I didn't get scared of that movie, but that's how sensitive I am to the media I consume.
Okay.
Cartoons upset me.
You're an extremely empathetic person.
I am a self-diagnosed empath.
So you're not going to enjoy necessarily watching people get killed in various
not at
fun
all.
ways.
Here's a fun fact about me. As a child, I could not play video games besides Tetris because I got too upset about the characters dying.
Wait,
what?
Man. Is it too late to change the topic of this podcast into...
Oh, we're definitely going to play
Emma's tortured youth, yeah.
We're definitely going to play some scary video games at some point
in this
podcast. I think we should
that's too much for me.
Okay,
but yeah,
I just remembered, I just flashed back to playing the game Silent Hill for about 20 minutes and be like, no, fog's too spooky.
I'm talking about Mario. I would watch my sister play it. But I couldn't handle the stress of playing
just the
myself.
anxiety of, like, getting hit and,
dying.
Yeah, that's real.
Like, I can play Tetris and die, because it's not a
it's
life
not personified
dying.
humans.
Yeah.
You don't die, you lose at Tetris. You don't...
No, that's what I'm saying. Tetris is fine.
How do you do with board games? Are you cool?
That's fine.
Okay.
I don't...
The game of life?
It's the death factor of, like, the anxiety of someone getting you.
Yeah.
Because, like, the turtle man
What about
get
chase
you.
and tag and that kind of stuff on the playground?
I'm not a huge fan. I liked to be the tagger. Yeah. Because then it was like...
You're in control.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we might discover that you, as an empath, empathize more with the murderers in these movies than with those being murdered.
That'd be crazy.
Well, you're like, Jason was misunderstood.
Well, I do think that, nobody sees themselves as evil. So...
Let's get into it. Well, no, there's actually... I mean, this is a thing in horror of, like, this constant pull and push of, like... Especially with slasher movies, you have characters that are fascinating, like a guy that like puts on a mask and goes around and kills
and they're
people.
not developed.
And they're way more developed than the people they kill.
Right.
Because
they
they
are
have
like a blank
7,
slate.
8, 9, 10 movies where you're living with them, and you have to find more ways to bring that character in and expand it. So you end up learning a ton about Jason, about Michael Myers. So you end up empathizing with him a ton, actually.
I sort of just assumed that they were like monoliths that we just project whatever we want onto.
That's also true.
Okay.
But I think that's why that is... The further you go along in a series, the more that goes away.
Okay.
And it's like, it's not a monolith anymore. It's my old buddy, Michael Myers. Like,
okay.
I know this means something. Like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So I was a bit of like a weird horror kid. So I think I grew out of it. I read all the Stephen King novels. I liked to do like monster like horror makeup with spirit gum and liquid latex, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
When you're alone in your room and a lot of your friends are imaginary. But the position that I'm in now is I have almost no tolerance for any tension of any form in movies. So it's like scary stuff is way off the reservation, but even like, so I would argue, what is that movie, Annihilation? Not a scary movie necessarily, but it does have like high tension moments.
The preview scared me enough. I didn't see it.
And it is like full, so my coping mechanism is generally to plug, you guys are going to see a lot of these sort of like physical,
I can't wait.
Physical tics.
Oh, that's what I do too.
I fully clamp down.
I cover my ears and my eyes.
Do you remember that movie Summer School? It was like a comedy.
Yes, and
from the 80s.
They make the fake horror room.
They're like really interested in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Kyle,
this is not ringing.
It's like a real dumb,
it's
like
an
boner
80s
heavy
movie.
80s comedy where a guy is like, he has to teach a ragtag group of misfits who are in high school for summer school. And there's two kids who are like horror enthusiasts, and they do a gross thing, like a horror room basically. And I remember we got free passes to it for some reason, and I was so freaked out by it that I turned around in the theater, and then the projection booth was like shooting the image onto the screen, and so you could see a small version of it reflected in the glass in the projection booth, and I could like still see it. It's like being burned on my corneas. So just like, I think kind of from that point on, it's just like, this is not my bag, but I think I'm interested in the themes of it. There's all this cool like new artful horror that's coming out. Sure. So I am not fully
yeah, I was misled.
He's trying to say he's not a massive coward like Emma.
This is the point. This is episode 0. I betrayed.
Who just feels everything.
This is a deep betrayal. I'm scared. Maybe not as scared, but I am sympathetic to your point.
Sympathetic, not empathetic.
Yeah. So sorry about that.
That's okay.
That's my truth. I have to live it.
We do have a deal. Sorry, listeners. If this becomes too much for my life or anyone in this room's life, we don't have to keep doing it.
Emma may be leaving this podcast after episode 0.
No, I think I'm going to be okay with this one.
I think any coping mechanism is legit. Leave the room. I've got throw pillows here. Put one in front of your face.
Yeah, I mean, I did
you can mute it.
I
just keep subtitles on.
I got preemptively scared.
Now, wait a second.
You guys
we can watch a different movie.
Just thinking about this, I got so scared that I was moving boxes into my new house, and I didn't dare to move them up to my bedroom because it's too scary to walk through an empty house.
Emma, no offense. Don't reveal too much about your personal life and where you might live, because then the creeps.
Well, that's all.
They know that you're moving.
It's a 2-story house.
Oh, la-di-da.
Emma's sipping a glass of champagne right now.
So the format then is we're going to watch a scary movie every week or so, and then we're going to unpack it. In the future, we'll have guests. They will bring the movie to the table, so they'll get to decide. And then Kyle's the expert, we're the cowards.
That's pretty much it.
Want to tell us about what we're watching this week?
Oh, yes. First I think we should guess. Or say what we know about it.
Yeah.
What is the movie?
Oh, yeah.
The movie that we'll be watching today, and just jumping the gun because she's so terrified.
She's ready for it to be over with.
I can already see her hair turning white in front of me.
Okay, that's so not scared. Nice. I dye my hair. I have a few white hairs, America.
Yeah. So the movie we'll be watching today is John Carpenter's horror classic Halloween, released in 1978. It is the film debut of Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh,
her first film. So
I do know something about this movie.
So, yeah, to Emma's point, where I would like to know what you guys think Halloween is and what you think the movie's about. Can you give me a little bit about what your knowledge of Halloween is?
I'm pretty sure we see Jamie Lee Curtis's boobs.
Okay, I'm not gonna.
You don't have to answer.
You can look at me. I'm not gonna answer.
Okay, but I might be confusing it with Trading Places because I know you see them there.
100%.
But it's a great movie.
Okay,
we should watch that instead.
We gotta watch Trading Places. If you get too scared, we're gonna put on Trading Places.
Yes.
This is now a Jamie Lee Curtis podcast.
So all I know about Halloween, like literally all I know, is that the bad guy's name is Michael Myers, and I'm guessing it takes place on Halloween.
Good guess.
And that is how like people don't know what's going on because it's like the night scary things happen. So is this a murder or is this a fake thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is my guess about Halloween.
All right.
Oh, and maybe it's a high school.
Okay. Emma's locked in her guesses. Steven?
Halloween, good. You stole that sweet nugget. Like, fuck. I think it's weird. I know the kind of origin myths of the other two biggies in this sort of like slasher world. Like, I know why Freddy's burned, and I know that Jason, I think, got like molested in a lake or something like that. Something like that.
No, absolutely not.
That's probably the other one that takes place at a summer camp.
Yeah.
Friday the
Oh, you're saying Jason, not Michael Myers.
Yeah. Oh boy.
So I was like, hey, when we do this podcast, like maybe we'll get people who are like into horror to listen to it. Absolutely not.
Yeah, they're like, if anything like me right now, I am biting my knuckle and just screaming internally.
Okay,
but maybe that's fun.
It's fun. I'm having a good time. I love this.
I think he's got an all white mask that has like a shock of orange hair out of the back of it, maybe. And I think that there's some sort of like, production trivia nugget about why that mask is that, like, it wasn't supposed to be that mask, or they like, I don't know, whatever. Yeah. The point is, I don't know a lot about this. I know it's a slasher movie. I think he kills with a knife.
I don't know.
The poster is like a jack-o'-lantern with like a knife in it.
Oh, then yeah.
Isn't it?
Maybe.
Or is that maybe another Halloween?
Maybe
no, you're right about that.
Yeah. And then my favorite Jamie Lee Curtis movie is True Lies.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
True Lies is great.
I like A Fish Called Wanda, too.
Oh, yeah.
Never seen it.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. Well, welcome to Talking Jamie Lee Curtis. Emma's our host for that one.
I mean, can we talk about her mother, the queen of horror movies I do like, Hitchcock? She was in Psycho. Janet Leigh.
Oh my god, I did not know that.
Yeah, Janet Leigh is her mom. Tony Lee Curtis is her dad. She is Hollywood royalty.
So it was a very interesting casting at the time of like now
this sort of progeny of these two Hollywood greats.
Well, Janet Leigh, the original, not the original Scream Queen, but like one of them.
Yeah.
So.
That was such an iconic, and that movie did scare me, but I liked it, and I'm able to watch Hitchcock.
Yeah,
interesting.
And I love Hitchcock. I've taken 2 different Hitchcock classes in college. No. 1 Hitchcock class in college. So I've seen every Hitchcock movie. They scare me. Like, I don't watch them at night by myself, but like, I love them.
Okay.
Just to paint the picture of like the environment that we're watching this movie in right now.
Oh,
we are in a room flooded with sunlight.
So much natural light
it's
on
beautiful.
The Lord's resurgent day.
Oh yeah, it's Easter. It's Easter.
He is risen. It's very bright in here. There's lots of.
It's also Passover.
Plants.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Also Passover. Thank you, Emma.
Oh, actually, no. Passover doesn't last for 8 days.
And now I also sound like a jerk for immediately agreeing with you.
I was thinking of Hanukkah that lasts for 8 days.
Mm-hmm. Very different.
Yesterday was Passover.
Today's passed over.
Yeah.
Past tense.
Episode 0, and we will need to issue an apology to our Jewish
listeners. I am so sorry. I just got excited that we could include 2 big religions.
Yeah. There's a Jewish horror academic out there who's fucking furious right now.
Again, I'm really sorry. I should have known better.
Yeah. Well, I think without further ado, let's watch the movie.
The movie.
We'll work on that.
Yeah, we need a thing.
That was me pooping. Are we back?
Yeah, we're back.
Is that our intro?
We watched the movie.
We did it.
All right, so let's just take a temperature first of how the Scaredy Babies are are doing.
Yeah, I'd love to know your general mood right now.
I do think my heart rate is up a little. Like, I wouldn't want to go to a forest right now.
Or a suburb.
Which in general, I don't want to go to a forest by myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't do a lot of that, I imagine. I mean, I don't know.
I used to go hiking by myself a lot. And, like, in the day, it's okay.
Wait, why are we talking about forests?
I just, like, that's a scary place.
Okay, fair enough.
It has nothing to do with the movie.
Okay.
Steven, how are you feeling?
I don't think it was as bad. I think that the environment helps. I think the fact that we talked through the entire movie helps.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
I think that it is a high noon and that there's other people here. All that sort of stuff helped.
Yes.
Contemporary stuff is probably scarier. Like, it feels like the age of
Very
it
much of
maybe
its time.
kind of, like, keeps it from being, like, a total scare fest. But there's, like, all of that jump scares are, like, the worst thing. I think for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
interesting.
super susceptible to the kind of like formula of it, and I know it's coming, which makes it all the worse. So I'm not feeling terrible. I'm not like super spooked out, but I do think it is the sort of thing that like when I'm brushing my Claire's not coming back tonight.
Your wife, Claire.
Exactly. She's in Waco. And so I think that, like, being in the house tonight, like, dark and alone and no dog will be, like...
Yeah.
Turning on all
That's
the
what we were
lights.
saying before, is that the real test is going to be when the lights go out and it's
Or
time
don't.
to...
I will probably be sleeping with my lights on tonight. It wasn't that scary.
Uh-huh.
Like, in the sense that, I think you're right, like, there's almost like a campy feel to it because it's so old.
Interesting. Because Halloween is not what I would put into the
It's not real
thing
camp.
of, like, camp. Yeah.
But it feels campy, like her, like, girl with the pigtails being like, do you see anything you like? Here,
Oh,
my
sure.
shit.
Yeah,
I think
it's heightened for sure.
The tits and sort of cheesecake factor of that makes it feel like it's of another era, too.
Yeah,
And I
definitely.
think so many things have borrowed from it and parodied or
Yeah.
satirized it that it feels like almost like a joke because of that. And I understand that it's not. It came first. My heart rate is elevated right now. I'm not super scared. I've definitely been more scared, but I would never watch it again.
Really?
Ever. No,
Okay.
why? Why would I? And I got that the lighting was good, but for me, I don't see the point in that movie. I don't see the point.
Oh my god!
No, like, there's no backstory as to why he became
Well,
this
okay,
way.
so let's get into this a little bit then, I think.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
this is an interesting thing
This
for
is
me,
very
which is like...
interesting.
I guess I would imagine then there's some sort of dichotomy where you have like a sort of character-driven killer and then somebody that is this sort of blank slate. This sort of like excuse that like he's just pure evil.
Yeah.
Just accept that is like, oh, that's maybe less human, maybe, so it's harder to get scared by it. It's like, well then,
Yeah.
it tempers it a little bit for me.
As an
Definitely-
adult.
As an adult.
Definitely.
As a kid, no.
Okay, fair enough.
Definitely of like the top three, Michael Myers is the one that has the most blank slatedness.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Okay.
literally a guy in a black jumpsuit with a blank white mask.
Yeah.
He is meant to be, and literally in the credits, they credit him as The Shape, is the name of the character.
Okay.
Really?
So he's meant to be just a anonymous, represent evil.
So I guess for me, I will watch a scary movie if there's good characters and there's like...
What, like, Alien, I think it's like kind of a scary movie. That Alien has more personality in a way than, or like maybe more motivation. I don't understand. Maybe that's what it is. What is the motivation?
Yeah.
Pure evil.
So,
So yeah, he killed his sister.
So, interestingly,
Okay.
well, first, before we jump into that,
Yeah,
I think we should talk about your guys' expectations of the movie
Sure.
and how they, like we talked before we started watching the movie, what your thoughts on what Halloween was.
Right.
I made a couple notes here. We see Jamie Lee's boobs. Was
Did we?
Emma's guess. It was your
We saw
guess.
everyone else's
Everybody
But we
else.
didn't. We saw a lot of other boobs.
Yeah.
We did not see Jamie Lee's boobs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Was
she
she a
is the
minor?
pure one.
She's
She's the
the-
final girl. She's the one who survives
Right.
at the end. She has the virginal strength to defeat Michael Myers. Yeah, we talk a little bit about empathy and being empathetic. up top, and it sounds like empathy check. We don't have any empathy for Michael Myers because there just was not
there's no
anything
like,
Well,
there.
yeah, there's no recourse. There's no
Yeah.
cause to.
Yeah.
It's not like. I mean, I guess.
Like, I want to know
It
more.
feels like it's doing a lot of work to be like, oh, he's sort of neglected in the beginning, and that's why he snaps or whatever. Because
It does. I don't think it does any work
Okay.
for that. I
No.
think that maybe you can infer that, but I don't. I think the movie is just literally like you start with him outside
just
the
like a
house.
bad
Yeah.
seed,
He's just a
yeah.
bad seed. Yeah.
One thing that I think about this that, like, I think it would probably be true for a lot of these kinds of movies is that, like, everything, all the violence, it's not implied, but it's not particularly graphic. And that is a big trigger for me is, like, gush and,
Yes.
and like, viscera. And so it was almost, like, sanitized from that perspective.
Yeah, it's basically completely bloodless. There's
Yeah.
very little. I mean, you commented he slashes Andy's throat in the
And we
car,
see
and you don't see
and you
blood.
see no blood spurt out from that. Whereas nowadays, you
It would
would
be
definitely
full
be
geyser.
Yeah.
We'd see, like,
bone
tendons.
noises
Yeah.
and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you had a question at the beginning about the mask origins.
I feel like I've read something somewhere about this that it was like
Yeah.
almost like like an accident or something.
Yeah, it was not really planned. They knew he wanted to have a mask, but they basically just grabbed a William Shatner Star Trek
This
mask
is what it is.
off the shelf and spray painted it white. And that's the mask. It's actually William Shatner's face, but spray painted white.
Did he get royalties?
No,
Does he
I
get to
don't
be
believe I don't believe he got royalties out of this.
Oh.
When did you first see this?
That's a great question. Because I don't remember.
Kid,
I
probably.
said that's a great question because I was buying time to try to remember when I saw it.
But, like,
I was
childhood.
young.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was young. I was probably in middle school. Or
Do
high
we
school.
feel like this is a sort of thing that would be scarier if the younger you
Oh,
were?
yes.
Yeah.
Maybe. I actually don't know. I don't know
I
if
could not have watched that as a kid.
I don't know if I ever found it that scary. Really,
Mm.
I don't really watch it because it scares me necessarily.
Mm.
I think it's fun.
Yeah, it's like maybe more interesting as this sort of like progenitor for everything that's to come.
Yeah. Like, it feels like part of history. I just, like,
It's just
I
shitting on this
don't
movie.
like it. I don't see the
What's the
point.
point?
What's the point? She's not even that well developed a character.
Okay, why is he fixated on her? You said that.
So, you asked the question, that's that same question in the movie. So they don't. This did not exist in this movie. Self-contained. There's no reason why he would be fixated on her, other
We find
than
out in later movies.
other than she dropped that key off at his house, and that was the first girl he saw, assumingly.
so he's, like,
And he's
and
been
he was
stuck
like,
in a...
he's just like, that's her,
Yeah.
you know. But in part 2,
Oh,
you
we get
find
some
out
backstory.
that she is a long lost Myers sister.
Adopted?
She's his other sister that did not grow up with him. And so he came back to
What?
Haddonfield to finish the job.
That's all retconned though.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
totally retcon from part 2. They did not plan that at this point. Actually, maybe they had the idea of doing it, and I think they might have shot a scene or two where they mentioned that.
Yeah.
But in the movie itself, it's nowhere in the
That's-
text.
Are his parents just MIA, or do they come back in later movies as well?
Yeah, I don't
I
think.
mean, they might be dead at this
I don't
point.
think you ever see
Fair.
them at any point in any of the Halloween movies.
Yeah.
It gets real stupid.
Really?
Halloween, of all of the franchises, like Halloween pretty much immediately starts devolving. 2 is really good. Like 2 has more fun, like fun kills and more that same kind of vibe of goofing. But he's going through a hospital, which is like a unique setting. You actually don't see that many horror movies set in a hospital, weirdly enough, because they're the scariest place on earth.
My
But
summer camp kids last summer wrote a scary play
haunted
that took
hospital.
place in a hospital. So I
sure,
just want you to
yeah,
know that.
it's very scary. Brown walls.
They thought of it.
So the third Halloween actually has nothing to do with Michael Myers. He's not in it at all.
Oh, is that
None
one
of
of
the
the
same
witches,
characters-
right?
Well, it's called Season of the Witch.
Oh.
There are some witchy things in it, but it is bananas.
Wait, I thought Season of the Witch was a new movie.
No,
That's The
Halloween
Witch.
3
The
Season of the
Witch.
Witch is the third movie in the franchise, and the idea was we're going to just create a Halloween franchise with like every movie's going to be a different Halloween thing.
Emma just has a look on her face like it just dawned on her how many of these movies are out there, and that we're never going to let her give up on this quest to watch them all.
Emma already seems exhausted.
No, I just don't, like, I really don't get the point of this movie. Besides,
the point is it's fun. Like, the point is the
not
movie
fun
itself.
to me.
Well, but for a lot of people, it's fun.
But I just don't get how that's fun.
You understand there's a difference, though, in you saying, like, I didn't enjoy this movie versus I don't think there's a point to this movie existing.
I get why some people would like it. For me, there's no point.
Uh-huh.
For me, there weren't characters I cared about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the lighting was cool, and it was cool to see it from a historical context. But, like, I don't care about any of these people.
Okay. Good discussion so far. Really kicking the...
So we're starting to develop whatever our personal rule set is. Rule number 1, we don't want torture porn. 2, good character development. I mean, if you're going to be on a future episode, you got to come correct.
If I'm going to like it, I don't have to like it.
If that is your bar that you're setting, you can go ahead and hit that door right now, because there are so many horror movies where, like, the characters don't matter at all.
It's just fear-based.
But I think that's part of the reason I don't like the genre.
Yeah. It's also presumptuous to say that
me.
we'll like any of these.
Yeah. I might not like a single one, and that's okay.
Well, there's plenty. There's still plenty of them also, especially now. You mentioned in the first part of like this new art house horror, anything like A24 is putting out.
That's all interesting.
That's all very, very interesting. You know, The Exorcist has a lot of good character stuff.
I liked The Exorcist.
Rosemary's Baby has a
character
great.
I haven't seen that.
Great
but...
story.
So maybe let's break that movie down a little bit.
Yeah, let's break it down.
Well, first of all, I would say that just across the board, to give everybody who was not here in the room a sort of barometer for what we were scared by, I think just straight up jump scares.
Yeah.
There's not a lot, because all of the sort of slow tracking is like where we sort of see him in the deep background or something like that, or he's moving slowly. It's like creepy, but not scary necessarily. And I think where we were only really reacting to those moments of like high tension where like somebody's in contained space in a house and we know he's lurking behind an open door.
Or the moments where the movie was trying to tell you like a jump scare is about to come and then
fell for it like
nothing, and you fell for it when there wasn't a scare.
Yeah,
absolutely. A good example of that, the first jump scare was when the production logos came up. Both of you went, ah!
I didn't even notice
I don't
that
remember
one.
that.
Both of you were terrified when the production logos came because there's like creepy music underneath.
They just jumped out at us, I'm guessing.
And you were both very scared. Wrote that down.
I went and saw Honey, I Shrunk the Audience as a child, and that scared the shit out of me.
The one at the Disneyland?
It's at MGM or Epcot. And, like, shit comes out and, like, hits you.
Yeah, it's 4D.
I don't like it. Don't like it. They spray water on you when the dog sneezes. And, like a little mice run out and touch your feet.
Yeah.
Did not like it.
So, Emma's favorite horror movie, Honey, I Shrunk the Audience.
Not favorite. Did not like it.
Most memorable.
How are the characters in Honey, I Shrunk the Audience?
You know, not developed.
Speaking of shared reactions, you know, before we started this, Emma made a big deal of how empathetic she was. She called herself an empath. 10 minutes into the movie, a bullied child falls on his pumpkin and she laughs out loud.
I just needed to release. I needed to release my tension.
Through the active bully.
And again, he wasn't a well-developed character. I didn't care about him.
That little shit got what he had coming to him. I mean, if you're shorter than everybody in your grade and you're walking around with a giant stunt pumpkin, you deserve to be bullied.
Like, you gotta fall on it.
So, movie starts, Michael Myers stalking, well, we just point of view shot, we don't know who it is, but somebody stalking a house. 2 people canoodling on a couch.
Yeah.
And they go upstairs.
They were making out in the doorway before they even got it.
You know they're super horny. And then he goes into the house, and then literally a minute later, if that, the guy comes down the stairs putting his shirt on, like, all right, good sex. See you later.
Thanks, Julia.
I don't know that we're supposed to think they had sex.
What?
Everybody else is fucking?
I know, but,
she's fully nude.
so
15
fast.
years earlier.
She's fully nude.
She was wearing undies.
She was wearing
undies. And he, I don't know, it might have just been...
did upstairs stuff.
Yeah, it might have just been a little...
He took her upstairs, honked her boobs.
And then he was like,
It was
your
like-
hair's a mess.
I gotta
And then
go.
leaves.
I
And that's
gotta
how she was
go.
like, oh, Brad. Brad loved my boobs, but...
Let me sing while I brush my hair tacos.
And then that little motherfucker kills his sister.
Yeah,
Yeah.
straight up does it.
I
And
was
we
not
see it
expecting
through
that.
very small eye holes of the clown mask. Funny thing that I always forget about is him looking at the knife. So like you're seeing his sister like, Michael, stop it, and she's getting stabbed. But then he turns to look at his hand as he's raising the knife and bringing it down on her, and it's this vibe of like, whoa, look at this, I'm actually doing it. Finally, I'm living my dream. It's very creepy. It's funny that he would do it, but it's also very creepy that he would look at the knife while he's doing it.
And it's fitting that this is the first movie and literally the first scene, because I feel like, based on what little I know, like, we are going to see a ton of movies that are like, yeah, there's sex, but also there's knives. So it's like, what is the weird, why have horror enthusiasts what are the signals that have been crossed that are like, I'm really into sex and violence and this sort of like mixing of the two?
It's an interesting question.
Problematic.
A lot going on there.
Yeah, well, and stabbing is penetration.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a very phallic thing.
You know,
Nice.
as opposed to a gun.
Yeah,
well, I guess your bullet. But
Also,
Hey,
there's
bullets
intimacy and stabbing and choking. It's
yeah,
very,
like having to be right next
you're right
to the
there.
person.
Yeah. So all this genre is just like blade-based murders.
I
People
would
being
say it's
choked and
definitely more
scratched and
common than like a
cut.
gun maniac going around
Yeah.
shooting people.
Okay.
I actually can't think of a movie where like
There's
the killer, it's like a slasher movie
Yeah.
where he's like, I'm gonna kill people with a gun, like Son of Sam did.
Yeah.
But there's
That's
the
a
Son of
scary
Sam
movie.
movie. That's
Uh-huh.
not a scary movie. Spike Lee's Summer of Sam.
I like it.
Zodiac's a scary movie.
Zodiac's
Zodiac
scary,
is
but-
scary. Yeah,
no,
there was
those
a
are
few
movies
things.
I like. Even
Zodiac
though
killed
they're scary.
people with a
Zodiac
gun.
is fucking scary, dude.
Oh, I love that movie. Yeah, it's very scary.
I
It's more
did get
daylight.
very scared from it.
Zodiac unsettles me in a way that a lot of the movies don't.
So he kills. Oh, he's pure evil.
Yeah.
We jump 15 years into the future.
it's
Yeah.
Halloween.
And well,
It's
there
the
was
night
that.
before Halloween.
Oh, you're right.
Loomis and the nurse, the mean nurse.
She just sucked.
Yeah, and she's driving, and he's clearly
Who
just
let
like.
a woman drive?
Well, it's Loomis is just like, oh, I'm done with this.
I would say he sucks more than her.
He does, yeah. He is so dismissive for a medical professional. He just is like immediately, he's evil, he's pure evil, the blackest eyes.
I understand the human mind, and
His line as Michael Myers drives away in the stolen car is, "The evil is gone here." Or something like,
Yeah, the evil
what?
is gone from here.
You're a medical professional? But there was that great shot where they pull up and we get to see like all of the asylum, all of the committed
I think
walking around. And
that
it's sort
was
of like,
really
that's,
spooky.
I think that's one of the scariest shots
Yeah.
in Halloween.
Yeah.
That's just them wandering around.
through a dark
downlands.
field.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Lit by headlight.
Yeah.
Anything lit by headlights
Is always
is
scary.
the worst.
Yeah.
So growing up in Maine, there are not streetlights. Like there are some in the city, but like in the country,
yeah.
there aren't streetlights. I don't know if this might be true.
Good deal.
I don't know if this is true for other parts of the country, but like
Yeah.
going out into the wilderness, like I lived in a town where I lived, it felt really suburban, but the other side of town was very rural. So like driving home from friends' houses, and all you have are your dark ass, like all you have are headlights and like forest.
Maine, spooky estate. That's why Stephen King is from.
So that is real.
He grew up
I
around
think
that
for
spookiness.
me it's like ranch land. So then like when the headlights sweep across like,
And you
some
see
rural
like a
area,
cow.
there's like, a cow!
Nothing scarier than a cow with
Well,
headlights.
Hey,
They can get up to all sorts of business.
Who knows what the
those
cows are doing when
longhorns
we're
could
not
hurt
looking?
you.
The next day,
We
we're in
establish Jamie Lee Curtis
Haddonfield.
is
Yeah.
a good girl.
Yeah, we're already starting
She
to.
does not have sex. She's
Yeah.
bad at drugs.
She's doing errands
to
for her
babysit.
realtor dad
Right.
away. She's got the most books that anyone has ever carried without a backpack, walking all the way to school. Yeah, not a lot to talk about.
And then straight up just an hour of kind of preamble.
Yeah.
Which I think, Kyle, you were saying that's somewhat the formula. So it's like we get a sweet kill, in the beginning, and then we just get an hour of exposition, basically,
Yeah.
and scene setting, and arguably a good opportunity to do some character development,
Sure.
but maybe a lot of it doesn't happen in this case.
Yeah. I mean, I think there was character development. I just think that there was just, like, they didn't care about the characters at all. They just gave them, like...
they don't.
But that's, their bodies.
Yeah.
They're there to be killed.
Body number one, or in that neighborhood, you guys loved her. Was
Annie.
Annie, the
the
sarcastic crank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much into Annie.
Let's unpack that. What do we like her just because she's so world weary?
She's
She hates
she's
everything.
a high school student who, first of all, looks my age, and second of all, is just like sarcastic about everything in the way that a high school student, not in the way that a high school person would be, in the way that like an older woman would be.
Yeah, like she obviously thinks she's funny and like defines herself
I
as
think
the
she's
funny
very
one.
funny. I think she is the funny one.
But she's not genuine.
love
Like
her.
she's not that funny. She's
No.
funny in comparison.
Well, she's dead now, so she
but
got-
she's dead now.
So she gets, she's the first to die in the suburbs.
Yeah.
She spills hot butter
She spills
on
hot
her
butter
tops
on
and
her
bottoms.
She
Always
has to
disrobes.
whole
change.
front of her. So she grabs the first. She completely disrobes in
Takes
the
off all of her
kitchen.
clothes.
Of the house she's babysitting.
Yeah.
None of these people are wearing bras.
No,
This is
never
a-
at any point.
Is a bra free
this
culture
was the 70s,
just in the way.
and I don't know how big bras were then.
Well,
I assume most women wore that.
Hey, if you're listening, get at us on Twitter. Let us know how big bras were in the late 70s.
Yeah.
Hashtag bra size, 70s bra size.
No, not bra size. Just like how popular bras were.
Mhm.
Bra pop. 70s bra pop.
Because like I feel like this is probably cliche, but this was right in the era of bra burning, so it was a statement to not wear a bra.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
She gets there's a bunch of Mr. X.
There's a lot of Mr. X
Yeah.
with Annie's kill because it's almost
It
like
took forever.
the movie is just like, I'm not ready to get to it. Don't you want to live in this world a little bit longer where we just hang out with these wonderful people?
But every once in a while, he would pop up in a shadow.
Mhm.
Yeah, or be in a window, and then a dumbass Annie is like just yakking on the phone, moving around the kitchen, and he's there, he's not there, he's there.
He gets the dog before he gets Annie.
I
He kills the
forgot
dog.
about that.
So
He kills 2 dogs.
he eats a dog.
He does eat a dog.
He eats a dog, and then later kills the dog that Annie's babysitting for. She's not babysitting for the dog, mind you, a child. And then straight up, this was maybe at the point that Emma came the closest to just being like, nah, fuck this. It's game over. And Kyle says, trigger warning, I think there is some dog stuff in this.
After a dog had been eaten. Yeah.
Well, you don't see the dog get. They
honestly,
it's them looking at a dead dog, going, "Man, that's fucked up." They just never.
No man would do this.
watching
He's no
animals
man.
get hurt is harder for me than humans in some ways.
That's totally
That's-
common.
I think
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
universal
because like
thing.
they don't have the same defense.
right. It's like watching a child get
Yeah.
murdered on
Interesting,
on a
exactly.
movie. You're just like,
But that being said, they did it in a way that wasn't that.
It's
it
not
wasn't.
super graphic.
It wasn't
chokes
the
the dog?
lobster.
Yeah.
It's also hard to it's hard to see what's happening, and so I guess
Mhm.
I'm the bad guy because I'm like, can we get that dog killing a little better lit so we can understand exactly how
well,
he
again,
was
also flooded with natural sunlight in this room, so the lighting of the movie was just like everything was kind of washed out.
killed. No TV is bright enough to
Mhm.
compete with how bright it is in this room.
Yeah, we had talked about during the movie. We definitely will do an episode where you guys are required to sit in a movie theater
In a
and
theater,
watch the
or
movie
watch
quietly.
it at night.
Okay, but it can't be Draft House
Okay.
because I need to be able to like have my phone or something to distract
No,
me.
absolutely
Oh,
not.
yeah,
No, you can't just use a phone in a movie theater just because it's not a draft house theater.
Oh, so I fully just was like, yeah, of course. Like, oh yeah, that's totally understandable. We'll sit in the background. No worries, no worries, no worries. Whatever you need. I'm all about creating a smaller safe space inside of this very.
Absolutely
But
not.
actually, honestly, I got through years of having to go to mass with no distractions allowed, and I just counted tiles. I will find things to distract myself.
I would love to record after our theater episode and just get a tile count at the just ceiling tile count.
Fun fact: 7,433 tiles.
That seems too high.
That's a bit. I'm bad. I always whenever I do that little bit. Yeah. I always overshoot it. Well, so then Annie also she eventually gets killed in a car. Annie walks all over that town without pants on.
Yeah.
And then
drops
she
the kid off at the house where Lori's babysitting.
bins out a window at one point in time, so we get
Gets
sort of
stuck in
weird
a window.
Her lacy undies.
She does get stuck in a window. The stuck in a window thing is very funny because she tells the kid not to tell anybody, then immediately tells.
Narcs.
That's very funny. I thought that was a funny bit.
We have a theory that particular child is maybe developmentally challenged or
might
something like
be
that.
some problems going on.
I don't know if it was supposed to be written that way, but it does come across that way. Children are smarter than that girl.
Let's count all the things that kid did. This is like not super smart. So Annie's boyfriend Paul calls and is like, "Can you go get Annie for me?" And she's like, "Yeah, no problem." And then immediately hangs up the phone. And goes to get Annie. And then she also, during the Michael Myers attack on the house that Lori's babysitting in, with both the kids are locked in the bedroom.
Yes.
They come out, and Tommy's freaking out, and Lindsay, the kid, is just staring deadpan ahead, slack-jawed.
I mean, she might have been in shock at that point.
No, she might be pure evil.
Yeah, she also might be evil.
Maybe she's
Could
the
be.
sequel. But
Hey,
there was something else real dumb she did.
Oh, where she got spooked when the little kid walked on the other side of the couch and started creepily whispering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was like, "What's going on?"
You just saw him leave.
He was literally
Yeah.
sitting next to you seconds ago.
You watch him have.
Speaking of creepy whispering,
that
what do we make of the scene
doctor.
with the cop? What is the cop or doctor? What is his name?
Loomis.
Where
Sam
he
Loomis.
sort of stage whispers like a pervert
Yeah.
from a bush to three unsuspecting bullies.
Anyone that doesn't remember this from Halloween because it's weird and you would probably just put it out of your mind, but there's a part where Loomis is staking out the Myers house, just standing behind a bush next to it
Hang
for
out there all night.
presumably hours.
And that's our hero.
Yeah, that's our hero.
That's part of the problem I think I have too. There's no real hero in this. There's no one to root.
Lori's the hero. Lori's the hero.
She's like, she's kind of bland.
She knocks him down
stabs-
twice.
Yeah, she stabs him in the
Yeah,
knee
she
with
does,
a knitting
but,
needle.
He fully lifted the dude with the glasses with one hand before stabbing him, so we know he has super strength.
Yeah.
He fought him off.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I would have shit myself to death if I was stuck in that closet when he's
Oh, yeah.
knocking that
and the light bulb is
around.
going back and forth.
But maybe the smell would have scared him.
Yeah.
Back to the kids at the Myers house. So the kids at the Myers house, they come up and they're gonna just play. They're trying to scare each other. It's the Myers house. I dare you to go to the door.
It's
And
Halloween.
Loomis, I guess, is like, it looks like he's not going to warn them that
Yeah.
Michael Myers is probably there or will be there soon. Except then he kind of whispers, theater whisper, throws his voice like, "Billy, get your ass away from that door!" It's British actor Donald Pleasance doing a Southern voice.
Doing his American character.
is that
who's
actor English?
Southern in that
Yeah, I'm
Really?
pretty sure Donald Pleasance is English.
Yeah, what I love about that is that character had options. He could have gone forward and been like, "Look, I'm a doctor.
I'm a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an adult.
Stay
shit.
away from this place. Go home."
Mm-hmm.
But instead of doing that, he's like, "I know what I'll do. I'll scare him
I'll
off."
put a fright into that.
To be fair, if I were those kids and a guy in a big trench coat with a gun
I would also be scared.
Top
came up to
speed.
me,
away from me.
talking like Donald Pleasance.
I would be scared either way.
I think that my sense of my righteous indignation is those bullies didn't get enough of a comeuppance.
That's true.
They
Oh,
should
yeah,
have
they didn't
gotten
get killed.
They should have had a run-in with Michael Myers at some
Yeah.
point in time. Not died. I'm not a monster, but
Yeah, they
Yeah.
should have got spooked pretty
spooked.
bad.
Yeah.
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 Oh, well.
Missed opportunity there.
And then he just goes on a killing spree. Once he
Yeah.
gets his first blood.
Yeah, once Annie's dead, it's
Yeah.
we're really hitting it. So interesting to me that later in the movie we see this tableau. We could talk about the Michael Myers theatricality, but he poses Annie's body on the bed with the Judith Myers, his
Somewhat
sister,
crucified pose.
somewhat crucified.
Yeah.
Puts the tombstone on the bed, and it's weird because Annie was not. She didn't have her. We never see her boyfriend. She didn't have
Yeah.
sex while babysitting it. She hadn't sinned in the eyes of the movie,
Yeah.
other than she talked about she'd had sex before and she did drugs.
Yeah.
But the other two, God, I can't remember the other character's name. The
Pigtails and
Pigtails,
glasses.
totally, and her boyfriend.
Linda. Bob and Linda.
Bob and Linda. That's
Like
right.
my aunt
Like
and
Bob's
uncle.
Burgers and your aunt and uncle. they were in exactly the same situation as Judith Myers were. Maybe not exactly, like they were supposed to be babysitting, but they were in this house alone, fooling around on the couch downstairs. They go upstairs to have very fast sex, and then he kills them. So, like, why isn't she the Judith Myers? You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't he pose her as
that's the
Judith
thing.
Myers?
Like, there's so many things we could learn about him that would make it more interesting.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we just got his... I mean, we see his visual point of view, but we get nothing from his actual point of view of, like, why he's doing this.
Yeah, the doctor says at one point in time, it's like he's been staring at a wall, but the wall's not there, and he's been planning for this moment, and, you know... It's
Yeah,
sort
but
of
the
like
doctor just decided that. He's never
Exactly,
spoken.
and so I'm like... Well, I mean, is that true or not? It does seem to be like there doesn't seem like to be like there's a lot of motivation behind it.
We can infer from what his actions of like he gets out and immediately beelines for Haddonfield.
Yeah,
right.
True.
Like it's 150 miles away. We know.
I just
Okay,
like to
wants to
kill
go back to his old
teenagers.
hometown. It's Halloween.
He
wants to kill people on Halloween. He steals the Judith Meyer headstone, so he has some kind of weird fixation on his sister still. Yeah. You know, there's all kinds of stuff.
Some of those people were blonde. Like
Yeah, some of them were blonde.
I actually thought I was confused. I had to ask for clarification because I'm dumb about who was posed on that bed. And then you pointed out that she's
It was the
wearing
curly
She's
hair
wearing
girl.
a white shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think it was fun that he took all the bodies and, like, made a little...
A little spook house,
made
a
a
hell
museum.
house.
He did. Well, and not only that, he moved. So, like, he kills Bob, one of the greatest kills in
It's
slasher
good.
movies. He stabs
Cool.
him and pins him to the wall.
Lifts him up by the throat.
Lifts him up and pins him to the wall. And then when Laurie comes to the house later, he's not there. So you're like, okay, he moved the body. And then you find
And
out...
again, there was no pile of blood. Or
Yeah,
she
no
didn't
pile
notice
of blood.
it. Pool of blood.
Classic unit of measurement.
So then you see him again as a jump scare when he swings down from the ceiling,
Yeah.
kind of rocking back and forth upside down. So
Yeah.
Michael Myers went back to the body and was like, no, I don't like how
This
this
isn't
looks.
fun enough.
Well, if you'll remember, he did rob a hardware store where he bought all the supplies to rig up his
Yes!
Oh, yes, they
He stole
mentioned
some rope.
pendulum
Yeah.
bodies.
So that means he knew ahead of time.
Yeah, premeditated.
No, I'm gonna need some rope tonight.
It's like, what place sells rope, Halloween masks, and tons of giant knives that can support a grown man's weight after I pin him to a cabinet?
Local hardware store.
Yeah. Who is curly hair?
Annie.
No bottoms.
Annie.
When she
No bottoms.
when she gets finally her throat slashed in the car, her eyes cross.
Oh, yeah.
And then when Laurie has to walk through the haunted house of like all of her dead friends, Pigtails is in like a really long cabinet, and
you
she's
see her
cross-eyed
eyes.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that
Very
was like,
weird.
you know what, when you
Just go for it.
make a funny face when you die. Just
Yeah.
make a funny face.
They may as well have had like big X's over their eyes or something.
It was like Annie's death was pretty funny in the sense that like she was like making all
Again,
this noise.
noted empath.
No, I mean like funny in that campy. It was unrealistic seeming.
I'm putting a mental note in there to cue the Empath Corner music, our regular segment where we talk to our friend the empath.
Again, how do you have empathy with?
Self-diagnosed.
I'm sure.
I think you are.
I'm sure.
No, I'm
therapists
sure you are.
agree with
It's
me.
very different.
No,
But tell us about that funny death.
Well, she was like making weird noises and like faces the whole time.
Yeah.
That I'm pretty sure if you've been choked,
You can't make a lot of noise.
well,
I would
and her
think.
throat had been slashed.
Then it
so,
should
like,
just be gurgly.
I don't know. It didn't seem. That's what I mean when I talk about like the camp of this movie that maybe wasn't intentional, and only is seen because we're watching it in 2018.
Yeah.
But it makes it a little less scary because it's like that's not believable.
Well, it also was super low budget. So,
Yeah.
like, as far as the blood stuff, it was just
It
a
was just
function
too
of, like,
expensive.
we just don't have money to put a bunch of blood
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, and then have to do lots
And then
of
clean
takes
it
and
and
clean
then do
it.
it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Just as like a sort of like litmus of something that is like, oh, this is old, and then something that's new. We've watched. Have you watched that Gianni Versace American crime story
Most of
thing?
it. I'm not all the way done.
I just stopped watching it because it was unnerving. But like all of the sort of kills in that are like more graphic than this because like
yeah.
our tolerance is way up. So I try to like project myself back into what it must have been like to see this movie in
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
'78 or whatever,
Mhm.
and I imagine it was fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
I think it probably doesn't age as well as some stuff.
And it's not its fault. It's
Yeah,
just like
right.
we've changed how we view things.
Yeah.
Um,
And then all those other dummies get killed.
And then...
Yeah, we already talked a ton about the Bob and Linda deaths, but there's really not a
sort of
lot.
incidental.
Yeah.
But I think that thing in the closet was fucking great.
The closet's
the whole
very
thing about
scary.
it, like his shadow moving in front of it, his hand coming through slat by slat, moving all the wire hangers around, and then
her
she
stabbing
blinds
him with the coat hanger.
That whole sequence was fucking awesome.
And then right after that, you get the Undertaker sit up like he's not done yet.
Yeah,
that's iconic. Really good
It
stuff.
is. It bothered me so much that she dropped the knife, though.
Bad move.
She
Because it's just like, I don't know why you would do that in that situation.
She has the knife. She's walking over Mike Myers and then drops it right next to him.
Although, here you go,
second
here's
knife
your
that
knife
she's
back.
dropped.
Yeah.
Because when she stabs him with the needle, the knitting needle downstairs, later on when they're doing all the still shots of the house, we see that knife still there. She could have picked that one up.
Yeah.
Or another needle. Mm-hmm. And then she drops that one upstairs. Just not a lot of strong instincts for self-preservation.
Yeah.
No. But Steven made the point during the movie that, well, these movies hadn't come out.
Yeah, she doesn't know
she
yet.
She didn't have like the horror movie education.
We're time travelers watching this movie.
Yeah. We think we're so smart.
But that was very spooky when he... And you knew it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why she sends the kids to call 911 and then just stays. What is going on there?
I think she just thought
She's
for
just,
sure, like, I killed him. He's
but why
definitely
not
dead.
go with
the
Yeah,
children?
you definitely
No, that's
should.
very bizarre.
You absolutely should.
Because we have to have another...
Yeah.
Yeah, she just...
Because otherwise the movie would not exist.
She was bleeding, maybe she couldn't walk, really?
She was limping. We probably shouldn't get too hung up in the whys and why-fors of horror movie character behavior. It just sort of is a self-perpetuating engine. Mm-hmm. Doesn't necessarily have to be like... Well, and about the knife, too, Michael Myers doesn't pick it up either after that point.
True.
She dropped it right next to him, and he just sits right up and is like, I'm going to fucking strangle her.
Yeah.
So he just walks right. He doesn't even notice the knife.
Is strangling scarier than stabbing? What do you think? Stabbing sucks.
Stabbing seems
I
like
think stabbing's
stabbing.
scarier because, like, strangling, and this is probably not at all true, but I have a sense that I could get out of it.
Yeah.
Be like, bah, bah,
Yeah.
bah,
You always feel like you could fight your way out.
Even
of
though,
it.
like, I'm sure 90% of the human population is stronger than me and could kill me. That's not, like,
also
an
just,
invite.
That's not an invitation. It's not an invitation.
Anyone, it's a challenge. Emma is issuing a challenge on this podcast right now.
I'm going to
Come
start
find
wearing,
her.
like, an iron neck brace.
I definitely think stabbing because it hurts way more. It would just hurt way more.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't want to be stabbed.
Deal.
All right, we decided.
Deal.
Deal.
And then finally, the doctor who it's a little bit of that sort of trope of like one person believing in this sort of like villain and nobody else listening to them. I mean, I guess that sheriff sort of listened to him.
Really.
Nobody seems strongly motivated that like a homicidal killer has escaped from a state hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Nobody.
You think that would be like.
Yeah, he's like known to have killed his sister.
But the doctor was like, "This is shitty," and I don't agree with. The doctor was like, "No, don't tell people.
Yeah.
It'll create panic." And it's like, don't you kind of want panic in that situation?
Well, I don't think you want panic.
You want people being safe,
but
though.
you definitely want people to be aware of lock your doors.
Well,
And
when that
don't
guy
let
was
kids go
bombing Austin,
trick-or-treating.
nobody was like, keep it under wraps.
Yeah, let's not worry people.
Yeah. No, definitely not. Well, that's also crazy because he just met the sheriff.
Yeah.
And he's like giving orders to the sheriff like, okay, here's what you're going to do. Put your men outside this house. Put them in a car. Don't tell people about it. And the sheriff's just like, yep, got it.
Sounds good. He straight up walked up to the sheriff on the street, apropos of nothing. They didn't meet in an office, or he didn't call at time. He's like, I'm a doctor.
Yeah.
Killer on the loose.
Very wild.
And then immediately missed the car. Sam Loomis is the only person who would recognize the car. And there's a shot of him like full on ignoring the car driving past him.
And then he's hung out in the old Myers house for like at least half a day.
Most of the movie.
And then the car was parked maybe 20 yards down the street, and he's like, wait, what's that? Like, come on, man.
And was he there when the dog got killed and like just didn't notice it happening?
Loomis?
Yeah.
No, they
wasn't there
walked
yet.
into the house and they found the mangled dog.
Why do we think Jason... Oh, sorry. Michael. Why do we think he went back to that house? Because he didn't he didn't get any like keepsakes or anything from it. It's
to
just,
his own house?
Yeah.
I mean, it's his house.
Okay.
I think just to show like that's why he's here.
Okay.
It's a childhood home. It's like he's going to have.
He didn't get anything there or do anything other than eat a dog.
No, I don't think so.
He ate a dog.
He ate a dog there.
Built up his strength. So this is my question. I know he's like, it's not addressed, but is he some sort of superhuman?
It feels like it's alluded to though, because he's like straight up lifting people,
and like he survives all these gunshots.
So that gets in later movies we start to explore that. Like the second movie, they tried to just kill him off. By the end of the movie, they like set him on fire, and it was John Carpenter being like, "Okay, we're done with Michael Myers."
Oh,
now.
hence the third one's.
Hence the third one was going to be other stuff. But then they made the third one and it bombed, of course, because everybody was like, "Can't wait to see that new Halloween movie?" And there's just nobody in it, like no famous people, no hook at all. But starting with like the fourth one on, there's like 4, 5, and 6, a real run of like real shitty Halloween movies where he's back and they start to get into, I think it's 6 where they started to get to, there's all this like Celtic cult stuff.
Okay.
And they're like,
I mean, like, that sounds cool.
That's more interesting.
But that's also like, oh, you're out of ideas.
It's not cool. Like, it's not cool at all. There's a scene in the 6th one where Michael Myers is like chasing after them. Paul Rudd's in it, by the way.
Oh.
Is this H2O?
No, H2O is...
And that's the 20th anniversary. It has nothing to do with water.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing to do with water, just a fun little name.
And how many are there?
Good question. 1, 2, 3, I would not necessarily count, but...
It is part of the franchise.
It is part of the franchise. 4, 5, 6, and then after 6, I think, is H2O. And then there's one more after H2O, Halloween Resurrection, starring Busta Rhymes. And then that one's crazy. It's extremely bad. They're filming a reality show, Halloween Resurrection.
And that's after H2O?
That's after H2O. So there's also multiple timelines going on. You have Halloween 1 and 2, then 4, 5, and 6. Those exist on the same timeline. Then H2O came about and was like, ignore 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2 are the only ones that actually happened. And then Resurrection after H2O was like, H2O happened. And now they're making a new one, and they're like, just ignore all that shit. The first one didn't happen, or the first one happened, the second one even didn't happen.
Wow.
So it's a lot going on there.
I mean, I don't imagine for this we'll ever watch any of those. Because it feels kind of like...
Yeah, maybe like way down the line
the best
we may
one
watch.
in the series is the first one.
Definitely the best one in the series is the first one. I like the second one too. The second one, I would say it's a good like double feature.
I kind of want to watch that Busta Rhymes one.
I know, that actually sounds fun.
4, 5, and 6 are really, really bad. But the Busta Rhymes one is bad, and it may be fun bad. It's more fun bad than the other ones.
Which one is that?
Halloween Resurrection.
And that's 6?
That's
or that's
7.
separate?
Okay. Yeah.
And then H2O is before that or after that?
Yeah. Is this good audio? Us just trying to figure out the
something we can look up on
timeline.
IMDb.
Hey, let's guess about something that is definitely online that we can read about later. So I have a couple of maybe kind of like concluding questions, maybe to sort of set the...
Good.
All right, so who does... what is everyone's best kill? What was your favorite kill?
Favorite kill? I would say for sure Bob getting stabbed to the wall.
Yeah.
That's me.
I mean, I don't... It feels weird to say favorite kill, but yeah, that's the...
It's pathetic of you.
This is a very...
But like, yes, that one is the like coolest. But I had a problem with it because he didn't slump over. He stayed standing up straight.
Oh my god!
And that knife was not. It didn't. There was so much knife still sticking out that like it doesn't. It wouldn't have worked.
Who cares?
I do. Me.
I think my favorite one was probably him killing his sister, just because I really thought it was funny. Your comment about him sort of seeing him doing it in real time, and I'm like, yeah, fair play. That is pretty damn hilarious.
And it was funny watching her brush her hair topless while singing.
You know, a thing that all of us do. Who do we feel saddest for? The saddest kill? One of the dogs. Definitely.
Probably the dogs.
I feel sorry for that dog that got choked.
Yeah.
Or maybe the one that got ate, because it was desecrated on top of the killing.
I kind of feel bad for the truck driver.
Yeah, that doesn't feel like it fits into the thing.
Because it's barely, you never see him killed, you just sort of see him in the bushes, dead.
And he's naked too, just like everybody else. No dignity in death.
No dignity.
Emma, saddest kill.
I mean, the dogs.
Everybody's driving down
also,
seeing his
highway,
dick
look at
slapping,
wiener
it's just like a Big Mac wrapper goes thump, just catches on it. He was hard when he died.
Of course. Yeah.
Snatch.
Well, he's at the Red Rabbit Club from the Matchbook. So
Oh,
maybe
is that a strip club?
I assume he's a truck driver.
Okay.
They're degenerates.
They're all degenerates.
So, what was the? You know what? I think Annie, because she was the one we got to know the best.
Yeah. We really liked her by the end.
And we just liked her more than the other characters.
Yeah, for sure.
She gets shit done, pants or no pants.
Yeah.
And great head of hair.
I kind of liked her fun, risky business look.
Great head of hair.
She had that severe part and then just curls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the dogs too.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Why'd he do it?
Well, the first dog he had to eat.
Why'd he do it?
The first dog he had to eat.
Why'd he kill anyone?
Oh,
pure evil.
Pure evil.
Pure evil. Evil is gone from this place. Alright, so now we're going to rate, and I understand that this is all maybe not particularly interesting because Emma and I don't have a very rich reservoir of experience or source material, but we're gonna rank our this movie goodness.
How good is it?
Scale of 1 to 5. How good do we
5
think it
being
was?
quality.
5 being like really good.
Best movie.
5 being like you loved it and you'd watch it again.
Sure.
1 being like
pure garbage.
Yeah.
Emma was sort of dropping a hint. How she's
No,
gonna
I don't
vote
think
there.
it's a 1.
So where do you think? Where does it come in for you?
A 3.
Yeah.
Because I
fair.
recognize the good filmmaking aspects, but I did not like it or feel compelled by anything.
Yeah. I would go maybe even somewhat more harshly and give it a 2. I think the filmmaking was interesting. I love the music. I think for me, I kind of want to be scared more. This is like maybe a little bit about more kind of like masochism for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, I wasn't scared enough on top of it being a good movie. Like if it was a great movie and I was like, this is fucked up my week, I would have given it a higher score.
Okay. See, I enjoyed that it did not ruin my life.
Yeah.
That actually got it up to a 3
Yeah,
for
that's
you.
probably what part of it was. Like, I can handle this.
Kyle, where does it fall for you?
Oh, this is tough. Because I feel
You have
like...
nostalgia.
Yeah, well, I have some nostalgia for it. Maybe not as much as a lot of people have, but I think looking at its place in the canon of horror films, I would give it a 4 because of that. Now, if I had just seen this movie... like you guys coming into it, I probably would have given it a 3. Mm-hmm. Just like middle of the road. It's got some good spooks in it, but like, whatever. It's not that scary. But I think all things considered, probably would give it a 4. It's not a masterpiece. Well, of the genre, it probably is.
It probably is. Yeah.
And the filmmaking, like you guys said, like it looks really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's to me, I really, I think that it's efficient. It's hour and a half. There is a lot of, like, hanging out with the kids in the beginning, but it's also, like, really...
That's building the tension.
It's building the tension, and it's also really clean. It's
once
just,
it gets
like...
going.
Yeah, once it gets going, it's rolling
like,
downhill.
Boom, 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 boom. There's, like, no let-up.
Yeah, there's no let-up.
Nope.
There's not a lot of... There's not a lot of fluff on the movie. There's just not a lot of extra stuff that you don't need. So
I would like some comic relief.
I give
That's what
it...
Annie was.
Yeah, Annie was kind of the comic
then
relief.
she
Like, oh, there's butter!
Yes, slip it on butter in the
Waka, waka,
kitchen and
waka.
get stuck in a window.
Yeah, okay, fine. She was
Fucking
hilarious.
Three Stooges over here. Yeah, I would say 4 out of 5.
Okay.
What is are we stars? Are we...
Well, I don't know about for our goodness, but that begs the next question. Our scariness rating.
Yeah.
Maybe this is one of the same, but this is 1 out of 5 Xanax.
1 out of 5 Xannies.
Or Valiums, whatever.
Yeah.
Or Valiums.
Whatever you
Whatever
have.
your choice is. We're not here to judge.
For me, I would say this is so 5 being like really fucks up my life. 1 being like, not a big deal. This is probably a 3.
Yeah.
Like, maybe a 2.5.
2.5. I agree.
Like, it was scary. I wouldn't watch it again. Wouldn't watch it alone. Wouldn't watch it at night. But, like, I'm probably going to be fine. I might have a few little jump scares in my house where I psych myself up.
Sure.
But I think I'll be fine.
Yeah, I'd say 2.5 too. I think that, like, it really does sort of, like, neuter it a little bit by, it's, like, bright in here. We're talking the
For
entire
sure.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's, like, looking at phones and stuff like that. So it's, like, it does de-escalate it to a certain extent.
Yes.
I'm kind of like, oh, well, I don't imagine that I would have ever sat down and watched this by myself.
Yeah.
So
No.
definitely still scare points in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2.5.
For me, 1 out of 5 Xannies. I don't find it. I don't think I ever found it scary. Like even watching it now, thinking back, like was I scared as a kid when I watched it? I really wasn't so much.
Were you ever scared of anything as a kid?
Oh yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Scream scared me a lot as a kid because I saw it like real young. I saw this scene where in the beginning where Drew Barrymore's character gets like disemboweled.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay.
I have had it described to me by friends. Because it was very popular, and I was like in 6th or 7th grade, and like needed to know the zeitgeist. So my friend sat me down and told me the plot, and I was terrified for months. So yeah. So 1 out of 5 for me. Okay. It's got some creepy images in it, but I think for the most part,
it's bullshit.
Bring something else.
Bring it on. Well, hopefully. We can up those scores in the coming weeks, and someone will bring it on.
We're watching Bring It On.
Oh, I like Bring It On. Bring It On.
It's a great movie.
We're gonna have to do a spin-off podcast.
Where it's just movies
it's just
we like.
Light, fun.
Yeah, I don't like comedies. Like
really?
Like a lot of comedies I can't watch.
Oh, we should do the opposite of this, where we show Kyle comedies.
That's not true. I've watched a ton of comedies.
Okay.
We didn't find it funny. We don't think it's very funny at all.
But you have to watch it.
I was all right. Well, that's it. Till next time. Next time we're back.
Stay safe.
And don't get murdered. No, we can't do that.
Let's just say stay safe. It's more general.
Just stay safe and keep the lights on. We'll work on that.
Yeah, we need to sign off.
What's that? Motel 6?
Yeah, we'll leave the light on.
Keep the light on for you.
I don't think we can do that. Copyright infringement, but like...
Tom Bodette's going to come after us.
Yeah. He's from Maine, I think.
Is he?
I don't know.
Spooky!
He has a Maine accent.
Yeah. We closed the loop on the scares there. All right, bye!
We did it.